Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, no matter how much you chase, you're never quite able to grab hold of the life you want? Like you're running on a treadmill, always striving, always moving, but never really getting anywhere? You chase that perfect relationship, that elusive dream job, that sense of fulfillment, and it always seems just out of reach. You're not alone. I know that feeling. I've been there myself. You pour your energy into something, you give it your all, and yet it always slips away. You start to wonder, is something wrong with me? Why do I keep chasing but never seem to catch up? Well, I'm here to tell you that it's not your fault. You're not broken. You don't need to chase anything anymore. You've been taught to believe that if you keep going after the things you want, you'll eventually get them. But what if I told you that the more you chase, the more you push those things away? That's the trap. Today, we're going to break free from that cycle. I'm going to show you how to stop chasing and finally start living. Because the truth is, everything you want is already within reach. It's just a matter of shifting your mindset and your actions. So if you're ready to stop running and start living fully in the present, then stay with me because the 5 rules I'm about to share will transform the way you approach every single part of your life. Now let's talk about the problem. Why are we always chasing something? Why do we keep going after the things that we think will give us what we want, but then we end up empty, exhausted, and more frustrated than ever? The truth is, chasing comes from a place of desperation. It's that inner feeling of not having enough, not being enough, or not doing enough. And that desperation, that feeling of I need this or I need them, is what pushes us into constant pursuit. But here's the harsh reality. The more you chase, the more you push everything away. Why? Because when you're in a state of desperation, you're sending out one thing to the universe: lack. You're constantly telling yourself, I don't have what I need, so I need to go after it. And when you act from a place of lack, you are actually repelling what you want. It's counterproductive. Think about it. When was the last time you were in a relationship, a friendship, or a work situation where you were desperately trying to make someone see your worth or prove yourself or show them that you're good enough? How did that feel? Exhausting, right? You felt drained, maybe even rejected. And the more you tried, the more they pulled away because they could feel that desperation. And here's the kicker. You felt it too. That's why it's so dangerous to chase. It keeps you in a constant state of emotional instability. You can never find peace. You're constantly running after something, hoping that when you finally catch it, everything will fall into place. But it doesn't work that way. Chasing makes us lose ourselves. It pulls us out of the present moment. And we start living in the future, always thinking, once I have that thing, then I'll be happy. Once I get that promotion, then I'll feel successful. Once I have that perfect partner, then I'll feel loved. But here's the painful truth. You're already living in the future, and you're missing the present. And the present is all you ever really have. Now, I want you to stop for a second and think, what are you chasing right now? What have you been running after, convinced that it will finally make everything okay? Is it the perfect relationship, the dream job, the social approval, or is it just the feeling that you're enough? I want you to realize something right now. Chasing is a trap, and it's a trap that keeps you stuck in emotional chaos. It keeps you feeling out of control. But the truth is, the moment you stop chasing, you free yourself. The moment you stop running from yourself. Now, I know this isn't going to be easy. It's going to feel strange at first, and it might feel like you're giving up on something. But here's what you're actually doing. You're creating space for what you truly want. You're inviting true connection, true success, and true peace into your life. And it starts the moment you stop chasing. Let's get into the first rule that will help you stop chasing and start living. This is the foundation of everything, and it might be the most important one you'll ever learn. Your worth is not dependent on their response. So often, we get caught up in this idea that we need someone else's approval to feel good about ourselves. Whether it's a partner, a friend, a colleague, or even a stranger on the internet. We've been conditioned to think that we have to prove ourselves in order to be seen, to be loved, to be enough. We constantly seek validation from others. We text that person again, hoping for a reply that'll make us feel good. We work late into the night to impress our boss, hoping for that promotion or praise. We post something on social media, waiting for the likes and comments to flood in so we can feel noticed, appreciated, worthy. But here's the thing, your worth doesn't come from any of that. Your worth doesn't come from what someone else thinks about you. Your worth is intrinsic. It's built into you from the moment you were born. You are already enough. I want you to hear me when I say this. You do not need anyone's approval to feel valuable. You do not need someone's response to know that you are worthy of love, success, and peace. That is an illusion, and it's the trap that keeps you stuck in this cycle of chasing. When you realize that your worth is not dependent on anyone's response, everything changes. You no longer look for that approval hit from someone else. Instead, you start to live from a place of self-respect and self-regard. Think about it for a second. How much energy do you waste chasing after the approval of others? How much of your time do you spend second-guessing yourself, wondering what someone will think, whether they'll like you, whether they'll say yes? That's not freedom. That's bondage. So I'm asking you today to free yourself. Right now in this moment, I want you to promise me that you will stop waiting for someone else to validate your worth. Stop waiting for the approval. Stop waiting for the applause. You are enough. You've always been enough. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but Mel, it's hard. What if they reject me? What if I'm not good enough? Here's the truth. Rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their opinion. And their opinion is not the truth about who you are. Every time you catch yourself reaching for that validation, ask yourself this simple question. Do I need this to know I'm enough? The answer is always no. And the moment you make that shift, you stop chasing. You stop looking outside of yourself for the approval you crave. And instead, you begin to look inward. And that's where real power lies. So let's make this concrete. From this moment on, every time you feel that urge to prove your worth to someone, whether it's in a relationship, at work, or on social media, take a step back, take a deep breath, and remind yourself, I am enough, just as I am. I don't need their response to validate my worth. I know my value. You don't need to chase approval. You are the one who gets to decide your worth. And once you embrace that, you will be free. Free from the cycle of trying to impress others, free from the constant need for external validation. And that's when you start to live, truly live, from a place of inner peace and confidence. Now let's move on to rule #2. Stop measuring your success by comparison. This is another huge one, and it's something we all fall into without even realizing it. Think about it for a second. How often do you look at someone else's life and think, I wish I had that, or why haven't I achieved that yet? Whether it's someone's career, relationship, lifestyle, or body, we're bombarded daily with images of what success should look like. We're constantly told that we need to have it all, the perfect job, the ideal relationship, the best body, the nicest car. And we see others living their highlight reels online and we think, why am I not there yet? What's wrong with me? Let me tell you something. That comparison game is the fastest way to derail your progress. You can't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. And yet, that's what most of us do. We look at someone else's success and immediately feel inadequate. We think we're behind, we think we're failing, and we get stuck in that spiral of self-doubt. But here's the truth. Comparison is a thief. It steals your joy, your motivation, and your confidence. The moment you start comparing yourself to others, you stop appreciating how far you've come. You stop recognizing your own unique journey. And that's dangerous because you're on your own path. And that path is unique to you. What would happen if instead of comparing yourself to others, you measured your success against your own progress? What if you started focusing on how far you've come, not how far you still have to go? Imagine what would change if you stopped looking at everyone else's perfect life and started looking at your own with gratitude, with pride, and with excitement for what's ahead. I'm going to ask you right now, stop looking at your life through someone else's lens. Stop measuring your success by someone else's standards. You've got your own definition of success, your own path, and your journey is going to look different, and that's okay. In fact, it's beautiful. It's what makes your story unique. Every time you find yourself comparing yourself to someone else, I want you to take a breath and ask yourself, what have I accomplished so far? What have I learned? What have I overcome? When you start measuring your success by your own growth, you stop feeling like you're always behind. You start feeling like you're right where you need to be. So here's the challenge. Start celebrating your wins, no matter how small they might seem. Recognize your own growth. You are making progress every single day, and that progress is enough. You don't need anyone else's validation to know that. When you stop comparing yourself to others, you'll start to feel lighter. You'll start to embrace your own timeline, your own rhythm. And the best part, you'll stop feeling like you're chasing something you'll never catch. You'll realize that your success is defined by your own terms. And that's when the real magic happens. All right, let's dive into rule #3. Action, not emotion, is the key to moving forward. This one might seem simple, but trust me, it's a game changer. How many times have you found yourself caught up in an emotional state, telling yourself that you can't move forward until you feel better? Maybe you feel anxious, stressed, or just plain stuck. And so you wait for the right feeling to show up before you take action. You tell yourself, I'll start once I feel more motivated, or I'll reach out when I feel less scared. Here's the problem with that. Emotions are temporary. They're like the weather. One minute you're feeling on top of the world, and the next you're spiraling down into self-doubt or fear. If you wait for your emotions to align perfectly before you take action, you will be waiting forever, and you'll be stuck in the cycle of hesitation, overthinking, and endless waiting. You can't afford to let your emotions dictate your actions. If you do, you'll always be at the mercy of your feelings, and that's not the kind of control you want in your life. The key is to act even when you don't feel like it. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates change. This is where the 5-second rule comes in. When you feel that emotional hesitation, that urge to retreat, you have 5 seconds to make a decision and take action. Any action, no matter how small. This is the most powerful tool you have to break free from the emotional trap. Here's how it works. When you feel that emotional pull to hold back, you count down from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you move. You don't think about it. You don't wait for the right feeling. You just move. Whether it's picking up the phone to make that call, getting out of bed to do something productive, or putting yourself out there even when you're scared, you take action. The reason this works is because it interrupts the cycle of overthinking and self-doubt. It doesn't give your brain time to talk you out of it. You just move. And that one small step forward shifts your energy, breaks the cycle of hesitation, and propels you into momentum. You don't need to feel confident to take action. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to do it. Action is the antidote to fear. Action is what pushes you past the emotional roadblocks that are keeping you stuck. So here's a simple exercise for you. The next time you feel emotional resistance, whether it's fear, doubt, anxiety, or frustration, don't sit there and wait for the feelings to go away. Count down from 5 and take one small action. It could be anything. Send that email, make the phone call, get up and move your body. Even if it's just for a few minutes, just take action. The more you practice this, the more you'll realize that the key to moving forward isn't waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect emotion. It's about taking one step even when you don't feel like it. And every time you do, you'll feel more in control, more empowered, and more confident in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. So let go of the idea that you have to feel perfect to make progress. Action, not emotion, is what moves the needle. And when you start to take action, even in the face of uncertainty or fear, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. Let's move on to rule hash 4. Your peace is the real prize. This one might feel a little counterintuitive, but let me tell you, peace is the greatest victory you can achieve. For so many of us, life feels like a constant hustle. We chase after success, after validation, after love, and we convince ourselves that once we get there, once we finally achieve what we want, we'll feel at peace. We think that once we have the job, the relationship, the money, then we'll be happy. We'll feel complete. But here's the hard truth. No amount of success, no amount of external validation is going to give you the peace you're looking for. The peace you want is not in some future moment. It's not in the things you think you need to chase after. The peace you're after is already inside of you. It's been there all along. Here's the thing. When you're constantly chasing, you're giving away your peace. You're saying, I'm not enough right now. I need to do more. I need to be more. I need to have more. And that's exhausting. You're running on empty. You're burning yourself out. But the moment you stop chasing and start prioritizing your peace, that's when everything changes. You begin to realize that peace isn't something you get once you have everything figured out. Peace is something you choose. It's a mindset. It's the ability to remain calm and centered no matter what's happening around you. And here's why peace is so powerful. Peace isn't passive. Peace is strength. Peace allows you to respond to life's challenges with clarity, not chaos. When you make peace the foundation of your life, you stop reacting from a place of fear or desperation. Instead, you respond from a place of strength and purpose. Imagine if, instead of chasing every opportunity, every person, every validation, you could stop, take a breath, and ask yourself, what brings me peace? What do I need right now to feel grounded, centered, and clear? Imagine being able to sit with yourself without feeling like you need to constantly hustle or prove something. You see, peace doesn't mean complacency. It doesn't mean you stop working towards your goals or stop improving yourself. It means you stop tying your worth to your actions and outcomes. It means you stop letting the chaos of the world dictate how you feel. You take back control of your energy, your thoughts, and your emotions. So, how do you cultivate peace? It starts with small moments of stillness. It starts with creating boundaries around your energy. Stop filling every single moment of your day with noise, tasks, and distractions. Give yourself the gift of space. Whether it's 5 minutes in the morning before your day starts, or taking a break in the middle of your workday to breathe, just take a moment to reset. You can also practice peace by not reacting to every emotional trigger. You don't need to respond to every text message right away, or engage in every argument, or worry about every little thing that doesn't go your way. Let things come and go without letting them disturb your inner peace. The more you practice this, the stronger your peace becomes. The truth is, when you start prioritizing peace over everything else, you'll actually achieve more. You'll be more focused. You'll make better decisions. You'll be more present in your relationships. And most importantly, you'll feel grounded no matter what's happening around you. So I want you to ask yourself right now, what does peace look like for you? What would it feel like to create space in your life to just be without constantly chasing after something or someone? That's the real prize. And when you choose peace, everything else falls into place. All right, let's talk about rule hash 5. Stop waiting for the right time, start now. This is one of the most common traps we fall into, thinking that the right moment will magically appear, that the perfect circumstances will line up, and then we'll finally be ready to take action. But I'm here to tell you something. There is no right time. The perfect moment doesn't exist. You are never going to feel 100% ready, That feeling you're waiting for, that magical moment when everything aligns and feels just right, it's never going to come. Here's the truth. You're never going to feel completely prepared for the next step. You're never going to feel like you've got it all figured out. But that's okay. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to start. Every time you think, I'll wait until I feel more confident, or I'll start once I know more, you're putting your life on pause. You're putting your dreams on hold. And I can promise you, this waiting will never get you closer to what you want. In fact, it will only keep you stuck. I want you to get real with yourself right now. What have you been waiting for? What have you been putting off because you've convinced yourself it's not the right time yet? Is it starting that business? Writing that book? Asking for the promotion? Or maybe it's having that difficult conversation with someone you care about. Whatever it is, I want you to recognize that the right time doesn't exist. The best time to start is now. The first step doesn't have to be big. It just needs to be taken. You don't need to have it all figured out. All you need to do is start. The moment you take action, no matter how small, you begin to build momentum. And momentum is what will carry you forward. Let me give you an example. Think about when you were learning to ride a bike. You didn't start off knowing how to balance perfectly, right? You didn't start off riding the bike smoothly, without any wobbles. You started by just getting on the bike and trying. Maybe you fell, maybe you stumbled, but each time you took action, you got closer to mastering it. That's what this is like. It's not about waiting until you're perfect. It's about getting on the bike and starting to pedal, even if you wobble at first. And as you keep going, you'll find your balance. You'll build your confidence. You'll learn the skills you need along the way. So I want you to make a commitment to yourself right now. Stop waiting. Stop putting your life on hold, waiting for the perfect time to take action. The right time is now. What's one thing you've been waiting on? One thing you've been telling yourself? I'll start when? Well, stop waiting. Start now. Even if it's just one small step, make it today. And you'll see how quickly things begin to shift. The best part? Once you start, the world opens up in ways you never imagined. You'll start building momentum. You'll start seeing progress. And you'll realize that the only thing holding you back was your own hesitation. Remember, it's never going to feel like the right time. It's never going to be perfect, but that's the point. You don't need perfect conditions to create the life you want. All you need is the courage to start now. So let's bring it all together. You've learned 5 powerful rules today that can change everything about the way you approach life, success, and relationships. These are not just tips. They are mindsets. Mindsets that will free you from the cycle of chasing and help you finally start living. First, you learn that your worth is not dependent on someone else's response. You are not defined by anyone else's opinion or validation. Your value is built into you, and you get to decide your worth every single day. Then you realized that comparison steals your joy and your momentum. Stop measuring your success by someone else's yardstick. Measure it by your own progress, your own growth. You are on your own journey, and that is enough. We talked about how emotions are not what drive us forward, action is. You have the power to make progress, no matter what you're feeling. Just like the 5-second rule teaches you, you don't need to wait for the perfect emotional state. You just need to act, and in doing so, you'll create momentum. We also discussed that your peace is the real prize. When you prioritize peace over everything else, you stop living in a constant state of anxiety and chasing. Peace gives you the strength to face whatever comes your way with clarity, calm, and confidence. And finally, you learned that the right time to start is now. Stop waiting for the perfect moment because it doesn't exist. The moment you stop waiting and take action, even if it's just one small step, you'll begin to see change. You'll create momentum, and momentum creates results. These rules work, and I know they will transform your life, but here's the thing. None of this matters unless you take action. You can watch this video, you can agree with what I'm saying, And you can feel inspired, but that won't change anything unless you apply what you've learned. So I challenge you today, pick one rule that resonated most with you. What is the one thing that's been holding you back? And what action can you take today, right now, to shift your mindset and move forward? Start small, start simple, but start and remember, every time you feel that urge to chase, to seek validation, to compare yourself to others, or to wait for the right time, stop. Take a deep breath and remind yourself, I don't need to chase anymore. I'm already enough. I'm already living. And from this moment forward, I will make choices from a place of peace, confidence, and strength. You are the creator of your life. You don't need to chase anything anymore. You don't need anyone's approval. You have the power right now to start living the life you want. Thank you for being here today. Now go, take action, create peace. And remember, you're not chasing anything anymore. You're living.